You have a really special strength and ability within yourself. And actually, I've been learning that every single one of us has almost kind of like our own superpower or a secret strength, so to speak. And so in this video, what I'm going to be doing is helping to kind of just guide by presenting some information to you to help you to tune into like, what is your secret strength? What is your special ability and how you can tune into it and allow that to come into your life. And it leads to an extraordinary life. And it's actually really awesome because you don't need anything to do it, just the willingness to see it. So the secret strength. The first thing that we've got to take a look at information-wise to be able to tune into our individual, special abilities is very simple. What is possible for you only changes when you see what it's impossible for you to keep being. I'm going to say this again slightly differently. This is really important to unlocking this strength within us. And this is one that was really important for me to spend some time really understanding the best I could. What is possible for you to be? What is possible for you to have? What is possible for you to become? Just what is possible for you in your life in general only changes. Those possibilities only open up for you when you're willing to see what is impossible for you to keep carrying with you through your life. What is impossible for you to keep identifying with. What is impossible for you to keep doing and saying over and over and over again to reality. One last time. What is possible for you to be only changes when you see what it is impossible for you to keep being. So here's the premise, and here's how this relates to tuning into this secret strength and power within you that leads to an extraordinary life. Most of us, we have this idea that when we want to gain something or expand ourselves in some kind of way, we need to reach out for more. Like we want to just like reach for more, like add more onto yourself, for example. Okay, I want to be like this, so that means I'm going to add all these things onto the character who I am. But there's this kind of other vantage point. And this vantage point, what this means is, let's go ahead and say you're looking at reality, right? Right now you're seeing it through your eyes of your human character right now. But there's other vantage points to reality. There's other aspects of yourself that you could see life from those vantage points. And so this vantage point that we're speaking about right now, who is the one who wants to let you know deeply, who wants to help you tune into this realization that the changes that you're seeking in your life, the places that you're going, the expansion that you're asking for, this is what we've been missing. This is what this part of you wants you to understand. It's not about adding more on. It's about letting go of that which no longer serves you. Right now it is. Because there's other perspectives, there's other vantage points, and there's other possibilities. But right now, for those of you and myself who are interested in tuning into our secret strength and living an extraordinary life, we've got to understand the first and foremost, the most important thing, your life can't change until you're willing to see what it is that you're carrying that's making it so that it won't change. See, what's happening is we've got this whole story. We've got this whole story and identity about who we are. And we're so attached to it that it becomes kind of autopilot. We kind of let our day play out in a way that we are not consciously choosing from the position of who we really are within our true being. Instead, we're kind of letting this unconscious story play out. The character we believe we are, the way we believe things are supposed to be happening. So what does this have to do with your secret strength and your special ability? Well, I can't personally tell you what is your secret strength. I could, but it would be some bullshit because this is only something that you can see for yourself. Only you can really see it. And It's something that we see not by labeling it, not by giving it new meaning or reason or definitions, or we don't see it by grabbing onto some kind of new something. We see it by releasing all of that. By releasing all of that, that's how you sit and look at life from your being. So I know this is a lot of information, so let's take this to step 2. Step 2, let's talk about happiness, okay? Happiness. Where does it come from? What, isn't it odd? Well, I know that for myself, I've had this kind of story about what will make me happy and about what brings happiness. And I myself have done a lot of work over the last 3 years to kind of change my story to give myself more permission to have more happiness now. But the hang up that I'd been having for a long time is like, I like feeling good, right? I like feeling good. I like feeling well rested. I like feeling excited. I like feeling motivated. And so when I feel good, I give myself permission to be happy. But here's the problem with that. Sometimes there's a restless night, or you don't sleep, or sometimes something unexpected happens in your life. Like, for example, my cat's been missing out in this forest for the last week. And so that's been something that is obviously unexpected. And anybody that has a pet that really connects with them knows that they're not just pets, they're members of your family, So yeah, it's like, hey, these unexpected things happen. Here's the issue with each of us having our own story about this, and this, and I'll be happy. The problem is life is always changing and unexpected things happen. It's life. What if happiness is not something that you reach for? What if happiness is not something that is part of you get to experience after you finish your to-do list? What if happiness is just a natural thing that occurs for you when you don't force your opinion or idea of what things are supposed to be like at reality? For example, when I say I feel good when this, and this happens, well, when those things inevitably one day don't happen, now I'm not happy. So when you have a specific requirement of anything and any kind of expectation at all, what's going to end up happening is you are caught in this vicious cycle of not being in your power. You're basically letting all these different circumstances in your life dictate your happiness for you. But what if there was a way to see life? What if there was a way to approach all that life gives us, even these unexpected things? What if there was a way to come to them and to receive them in such a way that we allow our happiness to be? And, I don't know for sure, but it seems to me like in my life, I experience these like waves of being really, really happy and feeling really good and super high vibe. And then suddenly it's like, hey, what happened? My energy level drops. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I don't feel well. That tends to be what it is for me. For me, it doesn't tend to be because some external situation happened. But I know for a lot of people it is. For me, it tends to be about just how my energy level is and how I feel. But what if there was a way to just accept whatever is happening? If I wake up and I don't feel well, why does that mean that I can't be happy? Why does that mean that I can't be in alignment with my power? Why does it mean that? Well, this is the truth. It doesn't. You could easily just accept, hey, today I'm not feeling it, and just let it be what it is. So this is a very simple example. So these are the 2 steps, because now we're going to jump into what does this have to do with your secret strength and how do you actually tune into it? So here's it is again. Number 1, what is possible for you changes only when you see what it is impossible for you to keep being. Number 2, happiness is not something that you create for yourself. You cannot create happiness. It's impossible. All we ever create is unhappiness. That's what we're doing. We create unhappiness. Happiness is something that just occurs naturally. It's a natural process of life. So when things go in alignment with the way you want them to, you're happy. So why don't we just instead just get to this place where we realize we're tired of the vicious cycle of the ups and the downs, recreating ourselves over and over? What if instead we just stop trying to create happiness and we just let life be what it is? We relax and we don't feel the need to project or insert ourselves in any such way. Well, now you get to receive the benefit of life and being here. So let's step into the third part of this, which is the final part for this video's purpose. You have a secret strength within you. There's a secret self. There's this part of you that you've likely felt before, but haven't really realized that it's you. And the reason for this is because you think who you are is this kind of false self, is how I'll refer to it. We think that who we are is our thoughts, and we think that who we are is our feelings. And we take our thoughts and our feelings and we tell this story about who we are. I'm such and such. I'm working on this goal right now. I live here. These are my friends. I'm a likable person. I'm an upbeat gal. You see, we've got this story about ourselves. Now, you may think that your story brings you joy. You may think that by changing your story to reprogram your beliefs and your ideas about yourself, that will create happiness for you. However, what I've been learning for myself, this might not be relevant to everybody. I could be totally wrong. I'm just going to say it how it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know squat. And it's in saying that, it's in really feeling that, understanding that I don't understand, that I'm able to sit back and let life guide and show me. See, when you know anything, when you know something, you now are unable to see what is really happening in front of you. All you see is your knowing. That's all you see is your knowing. So don't create a new knowing for yourself, because it's blinding you to life. And when you see life for what it is, this is when the natural process of happiness occurs. And this is when your secret strength makes itself known to you. So what we don't want to do is blind ourselves to the truth of life by adding on new beliefs or ideas or a new narrative to attach ourselves to that makes us feel better. Because inevitably, life, it happens. It's happening right now. And you will find this vicious cycle reoccurring over and over again. So what we want to do is basically stop knowing. We want to stop knowing. Because when you stop knowing, when you stop projecting your belief and your idea of the way that you think things are supposed to be, then when anything happens in life, you don't experience your reaction to it, which your reactions comes from your false self. Your story, your belief, your idea of who you are, this is your false self for layman's explanation points. That's what it is. I mean, it's a lot deeper than that, but here's the sense of it. That's your false self. So what we want to do is stop living from our false self, from this illusion, which only brings us pain, by the way, and challenge and problems, and convinces you that challenges and problems and pain are necessary process of life. They're not. Eventually, what ends up happening for people is they stop listening to the false self, they stop listening to the pain and the suffering, and then they experience the benefit of life. So here's the real key. When you know something, you can't see what is actually in front of you. You cannot see, let's call it truth. It's a triggering word, I know. You can't see truth. You can't. All you see is your false self's projection. What we want to do is allow the false self to project, because it will. It'll keep going. Mine does it all the time. I watch it constantly. It's hilarious. But this is the trick. Instead of believing that you are the false self, instead of believing that what you know is true, you just say this. It's simple. If you're going through pain, if you're going through a hard time, if something's happening that you don't understand, it's as simple as this, okay? You say, I don't understand this pain that I'm feeling. I don't understand. I don't understand it. Boom. You have just now stepped into your true being. Because when you're stuck in trying to understand and intellectualize and make sense of everything, when you're trying to say, what is the lesson here? What's the reflection for me? What does this mean? What vibration am I putting out that's attracting this? See, this is what I was doing before. I was trying to make sense of all of it. But I was trying to make sense of it from the false self. Here's the problem. The false self is not going to be able to understand or see what the false self really is. It's just a merry-go-round that goes nowhere. It's just this huge mess of confusion. You cannot solve a problem by projecting the problem at the problem. It's ironic. It doesn't make any sense. And we can just understand and admit to ourselves that we don't know, and we've been confused. We've been letting this false self drive our lives. And the key is to realize that and have a sense of humor about it. It's okay. When you say, I don't know, and you really mean it, you're not just saying it so you seem like you're some humble guru. Oh, I don't know. But when you really say it, when you mean it, you say, I don't know. I don't know. Then what happens is, instead of having all your energy and your vantage point of reality being from the false self, trying to know, trying to understand, trying to make sense, instead, you step that energy out of there and you allow life to be what it is. And you might see what I've been seeing lately is that life is showing me. Life is my guide. Life is me. This is what I've been seeing. There's this false self, ego, a lot of people call it. And that's not really me. It's this illusion that I've created. It's this whole story I've made up in my mind to torture myself. Really, life is quite good. Life is really amazing. It seems to me like life is this natural process of wanting to lift all of us up, wanting to help and benefit all of us. Life is not against any of us. It's ourself that has been against ourself. And it's only because we've been confused and caught up in this fake story. When you let go of that story and you don't listen to it, you don't fuel it, you don't identify with it, for simple explanation, then you're able to see life without your projection. And you are not separate from life. You are not. We are life itself. We are an extension. We are an expression of it. And so when you allow that to be what it is without projecting at it, you're able to receive yourself. Your secret strength is happening right now in this very moment. It is. And the moment you're willing to see that who you've been being, who you've been believing yourself to be, is what's holding you back, the moment you see that is the moment that you're able to let that go. But you have to be willing to see it. And that's really scary and frightening to the false self. The false self doesn't want to see that it's not really alive. It's scared. It's scared. It wants your energy. It wants you to keep believing that you are it. But the truth is that ego story you tell yourself is not real. It's not. What is real is here. It's now. And you'll see it when you're free from that story. So what we're really saying, how do you tune into this secret strength? You've got to be willing to receive who you really are. When you receive yourself, you will feel and you will know clearly in a different place of knowing that doesn't come from this false self gratification. It's something quite different. And it's all about letting go. That's what I've been learning. It really is all about letting go. And I can't tell you what you'll see when you let go of your story. I can't tell you because I have no idea. It's just it feels really good to be feeling life, to be part of it rather than to be pushing against it. To be part of it, not trying to separate yourself from it, not trying to create yourself. It doesn't make sense to do that. You already are you. You already are who you are. You already are life. So what if we stop trying to push so hard to create ourselves and instead let go of that false self need and just listen? Well, that's kind of what I'm in the process of doing right now. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of ups and downs to it. Sometimes it's really easy and I go a few days where it's just incredible. I mean, I walk around and I see this story playing out in my mind and it's not like you're pushing against it or saying, no, that's not who I am. Shut the hell up. It just, while I'm seeing that happening, I'm completely in alignment with this life. I don't know how to explain it. It's it feels, it feels incredible. It feels eternal. It's like it doesn't have a feeling. You know, I've been realizing that it's my false self that thinks and feels. This eternal nature of who I am, it's, it just is. You know, I don't know. There's a lot of people who write books and share their perspective on these things. You know, I'm making videos and sharing my perspective on it. The truth is that some days I'm in this state that is indescribable. And then sometimes all of a sudden I'm not. And the times when I'm not is when I'm believing that there's something that I need to change about life. But when I'm not trying to change life and when I'm letting it be what it is and I just am in the isness that is, wow. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. You know, everything really benefits me. Everything is working for me. The kinds of things that come to me and this gift that life is giving me, it's a really substantial. It's really satisfying. It's very fulfilling. And I haven't quite, you know, mastered it. And the joke is that once I start trying to master it, that's when I'm in my false self again. So it's a cool process. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Anybody else going through a similar process? Have you learned anything like this? I've read and heard from some really exciting teachers. I'll list a few. Eckhart Tolle, Ram Dass, Guy Finley, Vernon Howard, all incredible teachers speaking about the same thing that I'm speaking about, but from their own spin, from their own way of putting it. And, you know, I don't know what's next, but I like that when I just admit that I don't know, it's interesting. It's like, instead of trying to say to life who you are, you just kind of do this instead and you listen. And it's the craziest thing. Life is showing me, life is telling me, life is guiding me. And, you know, I mean, the kind of stuff that I'm experiencing is the kind of stuff that if you were to sit down and tell, you know, a psychiatrist, they'd try to give you lithium. And that's a fun humor too for you, but I'm not going to drag this out. I appreciate you guys very much. Much love to you. I've got some exciting videos coming out. I want to let you know actually that this upcoming Sunday, my friend Darius, who's like a math wizard about vibration and numerology, has collabed and done a video with me about Moldavite and diving deep into the mathematical vibrational numerology of Moldavite. And I'm really excited to share that with you guys. I want to let you guys know I've got a lot of more Nuitite videos on the way also. So much love to you. Hope everybody's doing well and sending good vibes your way. See you for the next video.